Good morning, children. Welcome back with the next new session of question and answers. In this session, we are going to discuss the previous lesson, that is early life to settled life. Lesson number 5 from 6th standard textbook, early life to settled life. So previously this lesson was already taught with the name of from gathering food to growing food. So in the new textbook the name was changed, that is early life to settled life. Okay, so the lesson number 5 from the 6th standard textbook we are going to revise today, especially the question and answers part we are going to revise. Okay, so here there are 11 question and answers from this lesson. So I'll be reading the question and answers one by one, as well as I'll make you understand the meaning of the question here. Okay, so let's begin with the first question. List out the products of the forest. List out the products of the forest. That means what are the things that are found in the forest we have to write. So firstly, the forest products are fruits, edible roots. Edible means which we can eat is known as edible. Okay, edible, 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 that means which we can eat. Edible roots and tubers. Tubers means, children, vegetables that are found under the ground like potatoes, carrots, beetroots, okay, yam. Okay, so all these are vegetables which are found under the ground, no, so these are known as tubers. Okay, so nuts, seeds, leaves, honey, wild grains, etc. are the things we can find in the forest. So if you know any other things like medicinal plants or something, you can write in your own words. Okay, so these are some of the examples, that these are some of the products that are found in the forest. Okay, so next question. What do you know about nomadic life? What do you know about nomadic life? Nomadic means, firstly, person moving from place to place is known as nomadic. Now in those days tribal people did not have an address. Okay, so they, when they have started their day, morning they may be in one place, and at the end of the day they may be sleeping in some other place. So that life is known as nomadic life, where there is no proper address. So tribal people in the forest have a nomadic life. Okay, now the early people moved from place to place in search of food. Yes, this is the main reason why why these tribals were nomadic, because in search of foods. Okay, next, such people are called nomads. Okay, the people are known as nomads. The life is known as nomadic life. Okay, they lived in caves or under tree shades or rock shades. Okay, they used to live under caves. They used to live on they used to sleep under the trees. They used to sleep under the big rocks and all. Okay, they lived in small societies. Yes, the group of people were very less, not thousands and thousands, maybe some 5 to 10, not more than that. Next, men, women and children participated in hunting and gathering. Yes, even women and children have also participated in gathering and hunting of animals. Next, they shared their food with all the members of the group. Yes, they used to share the food among them in the group. So they did not store the food like we have refrigerators now to store the food, so that the other day we can have the food. So in those days, as there was no refrigerators, they used to finish whatever they used to hunt, and they did not waste the food. They used to just share among themselves, and they used to finish the food. Okay, next, after the Neolithic age, a more developed sorry, 1 minute. Okay, these are the 5 points from this question. So here goes to the third question. How do we use fire today? How do we use fire today? See, children, this question can be written in your own words about fire. Okay, so the answer that is given here is, today we use fire mainly for cooking. So fire is mainly used for cooking, we all know. Okay, we use fire in melting works. Yes, people who work for iron, steel, or like iron, silver, gold and all these metals has to be like heated, that using the fire, and they have to be melted so that they can be given a proper shape later on. We use fire for light when power suddenly goes off. Yes, we all know, when there is no current, when there is a power cut in our houses, every one of us starts finding a candle. Now when the mobiles have all come, we put on the torchlight first, but people usually they search for the candle, and they lit the candle first, isn't it, when the power goes off. Next, we use fire to keep our bodies warm in winter season. Yes, we might have seen many times people using fire to warm their hands as well as their body during the winter seasons, and during the rains also, isn't it, rainy seasons also. Next, we use fire in thermal stations to burn coal to produce electricity. Yes, the trains like which are like when the coals were burnt, no, this what is this, engine trains and all, where smoke emits from the train. Okay, so such train such trains move only with the thermal power. Okay, the steam engines and all other engines, where in the beginning of the engine there will be fire, where the lot of coals were all thrown into the fire and it gives energy, that is known as thermal energy. So with that the train starts moving, so that is also one of the power which is released from the fire. Okay, next, we use fire in religious functions. Yes, for many homas and yagnas and Hindus, we follow the using of fire. Okay, now we'll go to the next fourth question. Prepare a list of food items eaten by the early people and the modern people. Do you notice any similarities and differences? So they are asking us what are the similarities and differences. That means what are the same common things and what are the different things about the food habits that people have in modern days as well as the olden days. Okay, even this answer can be written in your own words, children. So firstly, in those days people used to, most of the tribal people or most of the early people used to eat their food raw only. They did not cook the food until the invention of fire has come. So they used to eat the food raw. Okay, but now in the present days, in the modern society, we have our food only once it is cooked, isn't it? Fruits are all, it can be eaten raw, but vegetable, when it comes to vegetables, it has to be cooked and then only we can eat them. And especially there are some food like non-vegetarian foods which have to be cooked, otherwise it is impossible for people to eat. But in olden days they used to eat the flesh of the animal. Okay, now let's see the answer what they gave. They asked some similarities and differences between the food items eaten by early people and modern people. Both the first point, both the early and the modern people ate fruits, edible roots and tubers, nuts and seeds, leaves, honey, wild grains, meat of animals and birds, fish, eggs, etc. So this is the common food which is been eaten by both the generation people. Yes, next, second point, rice, wheat, barley, lentil, green gram, black gram, etc. are eaten by both. Yes, these are also the foods which are present eaten in modern people as well as the old people also, old early people also. Third point, however there are some differences also. Modern people eat bread, cake, pizza, cool drinks, fast foods and junk foods which the early people did not know. Yes, we have our fast foods which the early people did not even know what they are. Okay, next, the early people before the discovery of fire ate the raw. Modern people always eat cooked food. Yes, in the beginning I told, we people of modern people, we eat the cooked food, as well as the people in the early people, they used to eat the raw food. Okay, now we'll go for the next fifth question. The earliest human life became easier by domesticating animals and plants. Do you agree or not? Support your answer. The earliest human life became easier by domesticating animals and plants. Do you agree or not? Support your answer. So they are asking domesticating of animals as well as the plants. Here domesticating of plants means what? Growing of plants is known as domesticating. Okay, so domesticating of animals means, that means the domestic animals which we usually have, that means cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep, hens. Okay, so all these are the animals which are domesticated in our house, isn't it? So even the plants are also domesticated. You might have read in the previous class about the kitchen garden, where the early people used to clean the area and they used to grow certain crops behind their house or before the house, isn't it? So if it is yes, just support your answer. Let's see what they give. Yes, I agree that the earlier people became easier by domesticating animals and plants. I support this statement in the following ways. First point, more than 12,000 years ago, the world has started becoming warmer. This climate change led to an increase in plants, trees, grasslands and greenery. Yes, by like it's been some 12,000 of years now, so the earth has started changing its climate from the complete cool to the warm climate. Now, as the climate has changed, we can see many types of what is this, many types of plants, trees, green lands and all. That means area which is complete of grass and all, isn't it? Man observed this process and started planting the seeds he wanted and growing them for the food. So after having a keen observation by the men, what they have done is they have started growing the plants, that is either fruits or vegetables what they wanted to eat. So they have sown the seeds of fruit or vegetables what they wanted to have. Next, this was the beginning of farming. He cultivated different crops such as rice, wheat, barley, lentils, green gram, black gram, etc. So these are some of the food that are being grown by the people of early people. So whatever they wanted to have, they used to grow them. Okay, now on the other hand, animals like buffalo, ox, sheep, goat, deer, etc., which depends on the grass, started increasing in number. Yes, as the grasslands are there, so that is feeding for the animals, like the grazing animals like this cow, sheep, buffaloes, and all. They graze with the grass. So because of the animals have increased, so what happens? They start grazing with the grass. Then next, men use it to domesticate those animals. So animals which are not harmful, which can be kept at home, are known as domestic animals, isn't it? And in return, which gives us food, is known as domestic animals. Now you can say the tiger if it is killed also will give meat, but it is not like that. It is harmful to us, isn't it? It's very dangerous animal, isn't it? Now as man started farming, he realized that seeds took some time to grow. This meant that he had to stay in a place for a long time to care for the plants, watering them and protecting them from birds and animals. Yes. So before the concept of sowing the seeds and growing the plants, when it was not there, the tribal people or the people who are living in the forest were nomadic, isn't it? Now once they understood that just sowing the seeds will not give a fruits or will not give a vegetable at a time, so it will be taking some time there. So it takes time as well as special care to grow, isn't it? They have to water it, they have to protect the plant from the animals as well as from the birds also, isn't it? That is the reason why these people did not move from the place, and they have settled in that proper place where they have started cultivating, and from there the nomadic life was all came to an end. Okay, then finally, after that, the grains had been stored carefully for the future use as food and seed. Now, these people understood once the fruits and the vegetables were all completed, and some of the gram like green gram, red gram, black gram, okay, lentils and all these pulses and all are there. No, so all these things they wanted to store for the future use also. Then they understood we should have some place or we should have some house where we can store these food grains. Now, they wanted to store these food grains in some mud vessels also, isn't it? Now, let's see. All these things changed the life of the early people, early man from herding community to a farming and settling community. So this is how the life of an early people have changed. That means just from a herding, that means just killing and eating an animal is not just a way of eating the having a food. Okay, even a human being can grow their own food, have their own food, and can store the food for the future use also. So this is how the early people have learned the concept of staying in one place and settling down in one place. Okay, so next question, sixth question, if there is no grinding stone, how would it affect our food habits? So if there is no grinding stone, what is grinding stone here? So we might have seen, no, our grandmothers and all, they will be like grinding the like idli and this dosa batters, or maybe some like snacks, like morning breakfast, like whatever we have, and especially for chutneys also, our grandmothers, and traditionally in the villages still they follow the using of the big rocks. They just put all the ingredients what they wanted and they just grind it, isn't it? Now in the modern days, we all, just to save the time, we use this mixer grinders, isn't it? And blenders and all we use, so that within a quick time it all gets finished, isn't it? Now why it is important, let's see. It would be a little tough for us to have food without a grinding stone. Yes, without grinding the grains, it is impossible. Like if they give you just grains and this is the idli, if they tell you, can you eat? Definitely no. It has to be make some paste, and after making the paste, then we steam it, and then we have it and have the idlis, isn't it? So if they directly, if they give you, these are the idli dals, just have it and eat it, this is an idli, so can you eat that? Definitely it is not. So that means the grinding process is very much important here, isn't it? Now we would have to eat cooked raw materials without refining them. Okay, just we'll cook and we'll eat. Okay, for example, if the idli dals are there, idli pulses are there, okay, what urad dal and all, no. So if the dal is just given you directly, this is idli dal, they have just boiled, and if they give also, is that possible to eat? Definitely no. The middle process of grinding it has to be compulsorily taken place, isn't it? Then, for example, we have to eat paddy without separating rice from the husk. Yes, for example, we you might have seen, no, rice is covered with a brown color one shell is there, no, so that is known as husk. Okay, if that is not taken off, what is happening? What is going to happen? All this husk is going to be will be fixed in our throats, or it will be in our mouth only, and the rice will not be properly digested, isn't it? So to take off the rice, proper rice, it has to be process of grinding, or it has to be properly churned. That means it has to be properly cleaned so that the husk can be removed from the rice. Okay, we'll say no dhanyalo in Telugu, we'll say no. So from that cover we'll just take off the rice. Okay, next, seventh question, what tools do you use for cutting fruits? What would they be of? Okay, in the present days we all know we use knives, isn't it, for cutting the fruits and vegetables. So today we use knives and cutters for cutting fruits. They are made of stainless steels and iron. Yes, they are, these knives are made of stainless steels and iron, isn't it? Now, eighth question, where did the early people store food grains? Okay, where did the early people store the food grains? See the previous answer what I told, this here you will find the answer. Many earthen pots have been excavated. Excavated means what? Excavated means found out. People, like told no in the lesson, archaeologists are the people who have a knowledge of the things which are belonging to the history. Okay, things that belong to the history, these people have a great knowledge about them. Okay, to which family it belongs to, or to what time it belongs to which country or to which city it belongs to, they have a great knowledge about all these things. So people have excavated these earthen pots. Earthen pots means what? Pots like pots or vessels which are made of mud is known as earthen pots. Okay, now some of them are decorated. These earthen pots are very probably used for cooking and to store the food grains. So people in those days, once they have grown all the food grains, no, they used to store for the future use. So they have to store in some bowls and some vessels, no. So they have made some earthen pots and they have stored for the future use. And even for cooking also they have used such pots. Okay, now next, beside pots they used woven baskets or dig pits into the ground to store the food. Now even see there are some vegetables or fruits which has to be kept in the baskets. Okay, they have just woven their baskets by themselves after the baskets were all made, and there are some food which has to be which they wanted to store for the future use. For example, fish, for example, meat, for example, eggs. Okay, now we have the refrigerators and we are storing them. If there is no refrigerator, what is going to happen? It is going to get spoiled in one day itself, isn't it? If it is not properly preserved. Preserved means what? To properly keep it safe for the next purpose, isn't it? So in those days they did not have refrigerators. So what they have done is they have digged the land, okay, deeply, so that the, see, under the land it is very much cool. So what they have done is they have digged the land and they used to store their food inside under that. Okay, so this is what a concept of refrigerators was, like this type of thing was used in those days. Okay, then ninth question, list out 3 ways in which the present lives of the farmers and herders are different from that of early people. List out 3 ways in which the present life of the farmers and herders are different from that of early people. So here we have to compare the life of the people of early people as well as farmers and herders. Who are herders? Children, I told people who go for hunting and all, they are herders. Now see, let's see. Early people. Early people led a nomadic life like hunters and gatherers. So early people, as we all know, they are hunters and gatherers, so their life was nomadic life. Whereas farmers, they started leading a settled life. Yes, farmers have to live in a settled place because their food grains have been growing no in one place, so they cannot leave them and they cannot go to the other place, isn't it? Then second point, they gathered food. Early people used to gather food. Farmers, they produced food. Yes, farmers are the people who produce the food. That means they prepare the food. Next, third point, they did not domesticate animals. Yes, early people, they did not understand, firstly in the beginning they did not understand the domesticating of animals, but farmers, they domesticated animals. Yes, using of ox in the fields. Okay, using of like having their goat, hens, and all this like having this cows and all at homes, which gives dairy products, or which gives eggs, fish and all. Eggs, fish and all are known as the like, not fish exactly, eggs. If you have hen, it gives eggs. Okay, if you have cow, it gives milk, isn't it? So these animals are domesticated in the houses of the farmers there. Then in the early life they used crude stone tools and implements. Yes, so they have just taken a stone and they have given a sharp edges, and they have used the stone either for cutting the trees or cutting the fruits or cutting the meat also. But here they used polished and fine cut tools and implements. Yes, in the present modern farmers, they use sickles, axe. Properly they were given proper shape and they were given proper sharpness also, so that they can properly work with it, isn't it? Then early people, they were no grinders. Yes, there were no grinders in those days. The farmers and herders, they used motors and pestles. So in the present days they use motors and pestles. Motors means what we have, I told no in the beginning, like in the villages and all, they have rocks and all, like we'll say, like they just turn their hands and all. So that kind of things are known as motors. Okay, then last one, they ate raw food. Yes, people in the early people, they used to eat the raw food because they did not know to how to cook and eat them. Next, in the farmers and herders, they ate cooked and well prepared food. Yes, as these people of farmers, they know that it has to be cooked because fire was already there. So it has to be cooked and it has to be eaten. They know that how to prepare the food properly. Okay, so this was the answer and this was the difference. Okay, so let's go to the 10th question. How did the lifestyle of the farmers lead to early civilization? How did the lifestyle of the farmer and herder lead to the early civilization? Okay, so how the lifestyle of the people have changed here in the early civilization, we'll see here. First point. First, the farmers and herders began to grow plants and produce crops. He understood how to store the food grains produced. Yes, firstly they understood that whatever they wanted to eat, they thought they have to grow them first. So after growing, they wanted to store them also for the future use. Then next, he understood the nature of the animals and began to domesticate them. So he understood what animals are used for what purpose. Then he started to domesticate them. Okay. Then from the animals he got milk, meat, eggs, etc. So these are the things he got from the domestic animals. Then third point, as he started farming, he realized that seeds took from the time to grow. For this purpose, he began to stay at a place for a long time. So as in the previous question was also told that, so they know that seeds will not give the food at a time. So what they have to do is they have to wait for the seed to ripe into a fruit or a vegetable. So they understood that they have to settle down for some time, or they have to settle down for some days, so that the seed starts growing into fruits or vegetables then, isn't it? So their life started settling there only. From this stay, he built houses made of mud and grass. At some places, he built pet houses in the ground. So this is how, once they have settled in one place where the farming was done, so they started making their huts, okay, made of muds, or roofs were made with the leaves and all, okay, with the grasses and all. So this is how they started living. Then later, he developed new kind of stones which are called Neolithic tools. This period is known as Neolithic age. So when they have understood, so this vegetable or this fruit has to be cut like this, or this tree has to be cut like this, so then they have started using different kind of stone, like giving the sharp edge to the stone, with giving a proper shape to it. So that stones are known as Neolithic stone. So when these stones were used in that period is known as Neolithic age. Okay, then during the late Neolithic age, he made more technological advances. When the Neolithic age have come, more and more technologies were also coming up, because when they got an opportunity to be a farmer and grow more and more, they understood, so what next can we do for the betterment of the cropping. That means what can we do more so that we can get more crops and all. So what are the techniques, what we can do, either we have to dig other land also, or what we can do, what are the techniques we can use them. Okay. Next, after the Neolithic age, a more developed age known as Bronze Age has begun. So after the Neolithic age, the Bronze Age also began, where the tools were all used of bronze metal. Okay. Then during the Bronze Age, four of the Great Valley civilization like Mesopotamia, Egypt, India and China have emerged. So when the Bronze Age has come, so they are the countries like Mesopotamia, Egypt, India and China have started developing. That means these countries have started developing in all this early civilization time. Okay. Now last question, 11th question. Locate the following rock art sites in the map of Andhra Pradesh. See children, they will be giving you a map of Andhra Pradesh, either outline or a political map. So you have to mark the places there. The first one is Chintakunta, second one is Adoni, third one is Kavali, fourth one is Naidupalli, fifth one is Velpo Madugu, next is Srikalahasti. So these are the some 6 places which are given here, so you have to mark them. Okay, so this can also be done in the CW itself. You have to take a political map or outline map of Andhra Pradesh, and then you have to mark them. Okay. Okay, so these are the 11 questions, children. We have in the lesson number 5 from 6th class textbook, that is early life to settled life. I hope you have all understood this part of the revision lesson very well. For any more doubts and queries, please ask us immediately. We'll meet up in the next upcoming class with a new session. Till then, bye children. Thank you. Have a nice day.